Alrighty guys, welcome back. Andrew Gamer here with another video. Now, I know I've done this guide like 100 times before, but I have made like several mistakes in those videos for one, and two, I feel like I don't do a very good job explaining it because, well, I have the tendency to talk a lot and very fast to the point to where I don't sound English. Like I sound complete gibberish, and I don't. I'm not very hard. I'm not very easy to understand. So, uh, yeah. So I'm making a new video. Another thing with that that goes along the same lines is the fact that maybe I talk a lot and I talk really fast to try and get my videos done quicker. Uh, so yeah, and I usually have the tendency to talk a lot. So, um, now I'm going to be doing, and this is my final time, and I'm going to be explaining it thoroughly, and I want to explain it clearly. I don't want to miss anything this time, and I do not want to make a mistake. This is my final time, I promise you, because I will make this thorough, and I will not make a mistake, and I will not forget anything this time. So, in this video, I'm going to be, once again, showing you guys everything you need to know about the eco footprint mechanic from The Sims 4 Eco Lifestyle. What it does, what it means, and how to influence it. So, firstly, you have to have the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack in order to have access to it. And once you're in game in live mode, you can actually see your current eco footprint by this big, well, it's not really big, but you see the big bar on the bottom. That is the gauge for the eco footprint. And as you can see, it's neutral right now, and it's not being influenced in any way because you don't see. Okay, uh, as you can see, it's neutral. All right, neutral, and it has, as you all know, or as most of you all know, it has three separate states. Green to the left, neutral in the middle, which right now it's neutral, and industrial to the right. So eco footprint means the environment health. It basically means the state of which your neighborhood is in and its current health. So as you can see, it's neutral right now. So it's not really healthy or industrial. It's literally, as the game states, it's neutral, which provides no gameplay benefits or anything like that. Uh, Now, if it was green, which is the healthy state to the left, uh, it will be much more healthy, and you'll get several more benefits, such as Sims getting a clean air moodlet when going outside, um, and green feeding Sims uh, will also get a big bonus as well. They get a permanent +2 moodlets, and not to mention, gardening in green neighborhoods is one of the best things you can possibly do because green neighborhoods influence gardens to a substantial rate. Uh, because it's a healthy neighborhood, the soil is also healthier. In other words, the air in the water around the area will be much more healthy and much more clean, so gardening will be improved drastically. Even dormant plants, like if you have seasons, okay, for example, this plant right here, its seasons is summer and spring, which right now it is in season because it is summer. Uh, so if it was, I don't know, fall or winter, it would be dormant. But if this neighborhood was green, it wouldn't matter because it would still go up in quality. That's how crazy the green eco footprint can be, and how beneficial it can be to not only your Sims but to gardening. So I strongly recommend, if you're going for a green eco footprint, I'm going to advise you to literally start a garden right here. This will also influence the green eco footprint anyway, so it's really a big overall plus. Um, Now, I was talking about this in my last video, uh, my last eco footprint guide, but not only, okay, you can tell if your neighborhood is green if you see sun rays, which right now you don't. And at night, those sun rays transform into beautiful auroras. Uh, and bodies of water are much more clean and smooth, and they're much more healthy. So, again, green eco footprint it's really good. There's really no downsides to having a green eco footprint either. I guess the only downside to having a green eco footprint is the fact that it's going to take a lot longer to go to industrial, and I'll explain why that is in a minute. But now that green is out of the way, let's go to the opposite spectrum. Industrial. Industrial is the polar opposite of green. It is a it is evaluating the neighborhood as industrial, smoggy, and unhealthy, and it's gross. You see pollutants everywhere. You see, uh, even if it's like sunny, if you have seasons, you'll still see these smog clouds in the distance. As you can see, it is cloudy right now, so those are just regular clouds. Uh, but even if it was sunny and if it was an industrial eco footprint right now, you would still see those smog clouds in the distance. Um, Also, I should mention that before I forget, because I was about to forget this, of course, if you have seasons and if it's raining, the eco footprint also does influence how the rain looks. So if it's neutral, the rain would look normal. It wouldn't look one way or the other. It would look just natural. If it's a green neighborhood, the rain looks much more clean. Uh, it looks much more healthy. And I mean, it's crazy. And not to mention, if your Sims, and I find this really, really funny, by the way, if your Sims just so happen to go outside and shower, if it's a green eco footprint neighborhood, their hygiene actually goes up faster, as if it was neutral, than if it was neutral, which is really funny in my opinion because the water is healthier and it's cleaner. So I mean, it makes sense, and I I find that detail really funny in my opinion. If it's neutral, then you don't really get any hygiene benefits. Um, it pretty much goes up at a default normal pace. But if it's green, uh, just simply showering in the rain can be a decent way to actually get your hygiene up, which I find so funny. It almost brings a tear to my eye, like just thinking about it. Uh, so while the rain looks healthier and cleaner in the green neighborhood, the same cannot be said for the opposite end of the spectrum, which is industrial. If it rains in industrial neighborhoods, the rain will actually turn into acid rain. Yeah, acid rain. So the rain will look much more green and it will look much more unhealthy. And if Sims were so brave enough to shower in industrial rain, acid rain, their hygiene will instead go down, which is which is really funny. It's like taking like a mud bath. If you have spa day, if you click on your bath and if you take a mud bath, instead of your hygiene going up, it will go down. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing, which I find so funny. So yeah, don't shower in acid rain. I mean, why would you even do that anyway? I mean, I'm surprised your Sims don't even die from the acid rain. I mean, it's literally burning your skin. It's acid, so how does it not kill you? We will never know. Anyway, moving back onto the industrial neighborhood now. Now that I got the rain out of the way. Um, so if your neighborhood is industrial, uh, you will see much more smog and you will see a noticeable smoggy effect that's permanent unless it reverts back to neutral in some way. Uh, So you will see a permanent smoggy haze. Uh, Bodies of water look very unnatural, and they look rather gross and unpleasant. Um, and remember how I was saying about green neighborhoods is really, really recommended for gardening. I do not advise gardening in the industrial spectrum because not only is it harder to actually maintain your plants in industrial neighborhoods, they will actually die quicker. And it's not advised, especially if it's dormant. You cannot maintain it and you cannot actually take care of it because it's dormant. In industrial neighborhoods, they can actually die, even if they're dormant, because of the industrial neighborhoods, which is which is just crazy. So again, it's the polar opposite effect of a green neighborhood, and I do not advise gardening in such disgusting conditions because it's genuinely not worth it, and it takes much more time to actually take care of them, and it's genuinely not worth it. Um, so yeah, and also green fiend sims will also be they will get really mad if they're living on a industrial neighborhood. They will instead get a permanent +2 tense moodlets if they are living in industrial neighborhoods. And if they go outside, conversely to the green neighborhoods, if your Sims step out, they will do a coughing animation, and they will instead get an uncomfortable moodlet for gross air. Uh, there is a slight bug that's still not fixed that I want to mention real quick, and that is the fact that green neighborhoods seem a little bit bugged right now. The reason why I say this is because I've had my green neighborhoods revert back to neutral before, and my Sims still get the clean air moodlet even though it's neutral. Uh, it's a bug that they do need to fix because why get a moodlet for a green neighborhood if it's not even green anymore? I feel like that's cheating. So yeah, please get rid of that and please fix that. The same thing doesn't happen for industrial neighborhoods for what I've tested. So if your Sims are in a neutral neighborhood that was once an industrial neighborhood, they don't get the gross air moodlet anymore, and they don't cough. So the same thing doesn't happen for industrial neighborhoods. It just happens for green neighborhoods for whatever reason, and it's it's strange to say the least. So now that we covered the actual uh, the properties of what each status effect does and how it affects the gameplay, uh, how to actually achieve them, and how you know that you're actually working towards one end of the spectrum. So, as I was talking about earlier with your little gauge here, uh, now if you're working on a green neighborhood, and if it shows, if you have enough, uh, basically the gauge works on a point value system. What I mean by this, each neighborhood has a point rating for how many items of one spectrum has on that lot. So if it has more green eco footprint items, you may see an increase in the green eco footprint spectrum. But if you have industrial eco footprint points into that lot, and if you have those spectrums, you'll see a gradual increase into an industrial neighborhood. And another thing too is the fact that this is a neighborhood spectrum. So if you were to just change one lot and hope for a longing impact, you're never going to get a greener industrial neighborhood. You're going to have to at least get two or three, or maybe even four of the neighborhood lots, depending on how many lots there are in the neighborhood. So this lot right here in Willow Creek, or this neighborhood in Willow Creek, has five. So normally I do four of the five neighborhood lots, uh, and that has a huge longing impact on the neighborhood health, and that applies to both green and industrial neighborhoods. So, yeah, I believe how it works is depending on the lots, that is like how many points in total it requires. So, because there's 5 lots in the neighborhood right now, it works on a point value system of either negative 500 or positive 500 points. Negative 500 points being green, and positive 500 points for being industrial. So I know that's weird and it's kind of hard to understand, but I've looked this up before. Uh, Negative is actually green for some reason, and then positive is industrial, uh, which I find a little strange. But I guess it makes sense because you're getting rid of the pollutants. So I mean, it makes sense, I guess, on one end of the spectrum. So, like I said just a few moments ago, this neighborhood has 5 lots. So it goes from one end of the spectrum to negative 500 points for green and positive 500 points for industrial. So in order to achieve each of those spectrums, each lot of that neighborhood is either negative 100 points or 100 points for actually contributing. So this lot right here has none of those spectrums. It has maybe like a few points of green because of the plants, but not enough to make a changing impact. As you can see, there's really not much of a difference. It's pretty much uh, neutral, and there's really no change, as you can see. But to say if I was to like, I don't know, change the building material or the add more plants and trees and add certain doors and windows and add uh, energy efficient power sources like wind turbines or water efficient devices like the water skills. That would all contribute to a green neighborhood. And they will start getting more negative points into the lot, contributing to a green neighborhood. Now, the opposite effect would happen if you took out all the plants, from the exception of that being trash plants. If you have a trash plant, uh, that will not go to a green neighborhood because it's trash. It's literal trash, and I think it actually goes towards industrial. But to go for industrial, you would remove all the plants, and you would remove all the windows, all the doors, uh, turn all of the building material into uh, metal pipes, uh, concrete, or even like that. That would all contribute to an industrial neighborhood. Also, something else that would also contribute to an industrial neighborhood is adding not so energy efficient devices and much more pollutant contributing water generators and power generators, which contribute to a much more industrial neighborhood. But they do cost a lot of simoleons, and you do need the new Eco Lifestyle Expansion Pack currencies called bits and pieces, which are the two bottom ones there. The one directly above that is the Galactic coins from Journey to Batu. But that's completely irrelevant to this video. Um, so, now that you've learned that, and you want to go back to a neutral neighborhood, and you have, okay, for example, if you have an industrial neighborhood and you want to go back to neutral, very simple. You just go to any of your lots that has those industrial points items. You remove those items, and it will contribute. It will go down back towards green. And this is here I was talking about earlier. Is what was I going to say? This is what I was talking about earlier about the spectrum of how it works. Uh, Basically, uh, if you go from industrial to neutral, the spectrum will be more towards the industrial on neutral because you previously had that. So it'll be much easier to achieve industrial again compared to green because you had a previous industrial neighborhood. So I don't advise trying to go for a green eco footprint neighborhood if you already had an industrial eco footprint neighborhood, because it's going to take much longer to go to the opposite end of the spectrum. And the same thing for green neighborhoods. If you had a green neighborhood previously, and then if you go back to neutral, it'll be more towards green. So it'll be much easier to achieve a green neighborhood than it is to achieve an industrial neighborhood. So, yeah. Do keep in mind that the eco footprint gameplay does not apply to all worlds, uh, such as the regular world of Strangerville. It does not apply to Strangerville because of the strangeness and the mother plants effects in Strangerville. Uh, so the eco footprint gameplay is banned from that neighborhood, and likely so because it would probably cause significant glitches if it did. So I'm glad it doesn't exist there. And the others are the destination worlds, such as Granite Falls from Outdoor Retreat, Celadrata from Jungle Adventure, and Batu from Star Wars Journey to Batu. All of those worlds uh, are completely disabled from using the eco footprint gameplay and using it. So you can also, if you want to, you can also turn off uh, the eco footprint gameplay in the options under the eco lifestyle pack settings. Uh, I don't advise turning it off unless you really, 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 really want to, because it's so satisfying to see that bar slowly approach up to either green or industrial, and it's one of the main key features of the pack. And I just don't know. I just don't advise turning it off, because then you're basically not really using the pack, because the eco footprint is literally the main part of the pack. So besides the neighborhood action plans and the neighborhood action votings, which that's another thing too. That can also contribute to a green eco footprint or an industrial eco footprint, depending on which ones you choose. Uh, but getting those are completely unnecessary, and you don't actually need to actually get those neighborhood action plans to actually contribute to a green or industrial neighborhood. While it does help, it's not necessary. You can literally go out your way and change the eco footprint yourself without needing to rely on the action plans, which is great. If the eco footprint gameplay relied heavily on the neighborhood action plans, trying to get either green or industrial would be an abysmal. But you don't need to rely on neighborhood action plans. The reason why I would say that would be abysmal is if it didn't work like this is the fact that certain neighborhood action plans are RNG, and certain ones that you may want may not be available. So you have to wait for them to come back, and by the time that they come back, you may already have maximum neighborhood action plans. So you're going to have to repeal some of the neighborhood action plans and replace for others in order to actually uh, get the one that you want. So that's the reason why it will be such an abysmal if you had to rely on such neighborhood action plans, especially if it was so heavily. But you don't need to. You don't have to rely on neighborhood action plans in order to go for a green or industrial eco footprint. Uh, so yeah, I really, really hope this helped, and I really hope I was thorough in everything and covered everything that you guys need to know in this video, uh, because this is the last time I'm putting my foot down on it. I love this mechanic, I do, but I've covered the same thing like 4 times, and I will admit it is kind of stupid on my part, because usually simmers, YouTubers, gamers, and content creators like myself should only be doing one thing and then changing the topic. But I feel like I made a mistake on those previous videos, so I wanted to be absolutely certain, and I wanted to make sure I covered everything. in this video. Uh, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace.